It's People to People, the People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z. PTP.
Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people.
Good evening. Welcome. Motivation Monday is March 24th, 2025, and I'm your host, Rodney Rhymes, and it's the People to People podcast, the People Talk Show podcast, and it's Motivation Monday, as I said, and always I try to be motivated in everything that I do and everything that I bring to you. I didn't have any guests today, and it's basically still lining up to get some things in order. Wife had an emergency situation, had to go out of town, and it is what it is. So here I am, being faithful to you. And my topic today is meeting others where they are, mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically. And I want you to hear what I said, is meeting people where they are, sometimes mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm hoping that you'll get out of this the importance of not trying to really judge people, and try to, be understanding of people's situations, and hopefully having people meet you where you are in life. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers today. They brought me to this topic, and and it was something else that I saw that I thought was just really amazing. And then I thought about family members and friends, associates, coworkers, and people even in the ministry, people that I fellowship with spiritually. And I realized that a lot of people don't want to meet you where you are, but they want you to meet them where they are. Follow me, right? Some people want to be met on their terms only. And how do we deal with that? Many of us find ourselves getting frustrated, putting ourselves, some people that got killed over the nonsense of others expecting people to meet them in their lane. And I would say to you, think about the conversation I'm going to share with you today. So welcome to everyone that's tuning in, the TikTok family, the Instagram, the YouTube, the LinkedIn. I send peace and blessings to you all. The topic again today is meeting others where they are. Okay, and how do you do that? How is it that? What is your approach? Meeting others where they are, mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically. A lot of times when people approach you, they have intentions of communicating with you for a reason. Most time because they want something from you. Many of us will have relationships with someone because we want something from them and they want something in return. How do we communicate? How do we deal with these individuals? Let me give you some scenarios here and there for you to think about. But even in your relationship, how many of you are looking to get treated a certain way in your relationship, but it's not happening? And a lot of times you got to sit back and go back and evaluate yourself and see what is it that you're bringing to the relationship as well that's orchestrating the outcome between the 2, 3, or 5 or 6. When you meet a person the first time y'all gotta excuse me. You'll find that most of the time you try to meet them where they at. You want to be polite. You want to smile. If they smiling, you smiling back. You want to approach them, especially if it's a man trying to introduce himself to a female, or vice versa, the female trying to introduce herself to the man. Uh, it's important that we pay attention to how we move and how do we reciprocate the response from others, because a lot of times is how we communicate and on what level. Do we communicate with one another with respect? Do we say, hey, we are on the same playing grounds? uh, do I consider you to be at the same level I am? And all of these play a factor. And so I'm gonna tell you a little scenario that me and one of my coworkers was talking about. That was so profound when he was sharing it with me. He said, "We got this guy, and I'm not saying exactly where this took place, but it's a guy that works with us, and he has an issue." Well, long story short, one of my coworkers, he would walk down the hall and he would speak to this guy every day. He would speak to him, and the guy wouldn't speak back. And he's a real big guy. And my coworker, he's one of those guys, he like to be friends with everybody. He's nice to everybody. Always trying to help everybody. And the funniest thing, he got two sides to him. So when I say you meet people where they are, sometimes it can backfire. So here this guy, he was speaking to him every day, and finally he went to another person. He said, "Look, man, I speak to this man every day, and he don't respond." So my friend, he decided to say, "Look, if he want to carry like that, I can meet him right where he at." You know what I mean? So the young lady who he was talking to informed him that the gentleman whom he was speaking to had a mental situation. We would call blur. Now I don't want to say he just wasn't like the normal person. He had some mental issues that nobody really knew about, and especially this guy whom we was having this conversation today. He had no idea that this guy was mentally challenged at the level that he was. So coming down the hall and they're seeing each other. Of course, before he found out, he was always saying, "How you doing?" Guy not speaking back. After a while, he started thinking, yo, we got a problem. I'm speaking to you, ain't speaking back. Okay, we're gonna carry this a different way. But when the young lady explained to him the situation and said, "Hey, he has a mental issue," my coworker, my friend, he had to make a decision. The next time, he didn't meet him where he was. He met him at a different level. You get it? He met him at a different level. He met him with a different attitude. He was more responsive in a different way, which now gave the guy whom he was speaking to, who had the mental issue, he gave him a little comfort and confidence to speak back. So when we meet people, sometimes we are looking for people to respond to us the way we want to respond to them, and we're expecting them to respond back to us the same way. So sometimes you got to really think about, when you're meeting individuals, are you meeting them where they are? Are you meeting others where they are? Or are you meeting them on your level, or the level that you expect? And it can cause a problem with many people. Now, I have some situations in relationships that I've had. I met people at the levels where they were, and they was operating a little below where I was. So I had to kind of tone it down and come on down because of what I wanted to receive from them. And that's both male and female. And most of the time when it was with females, it's because I wanted physical contact. With males, I probably was trying to get some business done because I'm a straight man, but sometimes you gotta just you butter that person up just to try to get some good conversation and get what you want. So I found myself in many cases sometimes having to meet individuals, when I talked to them, I had to meet them at a level that was not at the same plane that I was walking on, not the same level that I was going on. And so that I found, was a little awkward. So what I'm saying is when we uh, communicate with one another, how do we do this? Now, I'm talking about family members as well. You and your family members, not everybody gonna meet you where you are. A lot of times your family members have and this is so crazy because I know so many people can relate to this. Some people will look at you and they would think that you're not on their level. Maybe they went to school, maybe they got a lot of money, maybe they just very attractive, whatever the case may be. Sometimes they would kind of put themselves above you and thinking that they are working on a different level. So they're not meeting you where you are. And sometimes when you go to them and they're not meeting you where you are, you have to now try to get to some level where you are now communicating the way they want you to make you feel like, okay, I'm going to feel like I'm going to come at you like you more than me. I'm going to come at you like I'm less than you, just so that I can communicate with you. That's not what I would suggest. When we meet people, sometimes we have to evaluate the situations and understand that prior to really getting to know them, you can't come sometimes at the level that you anticipate that they are on, because some people are not mature enough to be able to come to your level and treat you the way you want to be treated. And I'm talking business wise. We talking when it comes to finances. We talking about spiritual relationships and sometimes even physical. I've been in situations where some guys, they really was taking me lightly and they really didn't know, I could give them what they're looking for. And they was trying to meet me on a level that they didn't understand that I can come to, but I was above that. And sometimes they keep coming at you, and sometimes you lower your standards and go meet them at the level where they're operating, and then you have to deal with them, and that could be mentally, physically, spiritually. And so, when it comes physical, you do what you do, you handle your business. But a lot of us need to sit back and think about, especially in this day and time, do you meet people at the level where they are? Sometimes when you're talking to the children, the youth, you cannot talk to them where they are, because some of them is talking at below zero, no common sense at all, looking to try to get you to come to some lower level so that they can disrupt your day. And sometimes it's not the children. Sometimes it's your business partners. Sometimes it's your friends. They don't meet you where you are mentally, physically, or spiritually. And we all have to be conscious of that. I'm going to a networking event, and many of them that I go to, I find that a lot of people will walk in, and sometimes it seems like they walk in with a chip on their shoulder, or they got this egotistic type of attitude. I'm doing better than you, so I ain't gonna talk to you. Or I got more than you, or I look better than you, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of us need to understand we all have been at certain levels, and probably some of the individuals whom you met have been at lower levels than you or higher levels at one time. So it's important for us to just really think about when we approach people, at what level do we approach them? How about an individual who grit on you all the time? Do you meet them at their level and grit back? A lot of times I just consistently speak and keep it moving. Now, I got some individuals, if I speak and they cold-blooded let me know that they don't want to speak to me, I go to that level. I don't speak to them when I see them again. And we don't have to ever speak to each other. Long as you don't come within my reach, in my space, we okay. You go your way and I go mine. And I'm okay with that. That's me meeting you at the level in which you put out. The energy you put out is the energy that I receive and I give back. But sometimes you have to be conscious of the way things are and how you're going about it, and make sure that when you are moving and doing what you got to do, that it be at a level where they meet you where you are. And you should. Many times you should have people not to treat you any kind of way. I don't like calling people names out, but I can talk about situations. Some people who know me or know what I'm talking about, and some may not. But I got certain individuals whom look upon me as someone that they don't find to be on his game all the time. And that's because when I was coming up, they didn't realize when I was running the street, I was hustling, I was doing some crazy things. And these are some of my family members, right? And I would say that, that they didn't approve of some of the things I was doing, but what they didn't realize, I was meeting people where I had to meet them at in the streets. And so a lot of them who may not understood may not give me the respect, the fact that I made it to where I am today. See, I didn't have to go to jail. I ended up going to the United States Marine Corps. I may not be the most highly educated book-wise, but I can tell you that I am an intelligent man that can have a conversation with almost anybody, and I can handle my business. I've created many businesses, and I will continue to do so. And I want people to meet me where I am, but if they don't, that's okay, because I rise above them, go around them. Sometimes I have to just lower it and go up under them. But whatever it takes for me to keep moving, so be it. But I be conscious of where I meet them and how do I respond to them. Everybody that come at me negative, I don't respond to them at the level that they are. I don't respond negatively back to them. Sometimes I kill them with kindness. And after I do this, then I find that they actually come into my arena. Let me say, even in the relationships that I've had in my life, I find myself, having to meet people where they are, because not everybody is where I am. And so I'm hoping that anybody that see this message, meet people, give them a benefit of the doubt, but kind of have your area of understanding and what you will tolerate and so forth, where it can flex a little bit. That you won't be so judgmental on an individual because they don't dress the way you do or the way you think they should. Or they may not have a conversation or converse the way that you do. They may not use the big words that you use. They may not went to college, but it don't mean that they dumb. You got a lot of individuals that came out of the streets that are, I'm talking about hustlers, that are straight up businessmen. I've always told some of the young guys when I be mentoring them, I said, dude, if you can sell some drugs to an individual that will have that drug fry his brain, you're a hell of a salesman. Because a lot of people just, they just don't get it, but you meet them at the level where they are and you be like, hey, yo, this is going to set you off, man. It's going to have you nice. What do nice mean? Nicely walking blind, nicely walking crazy. You have to think about this when you're meeting people. And it's one of the things that I think that's really bothering me, and that's even with some of my children. Where do they meet me? Do they meet me at the level that I've been where they at? I've already been where they are trying to go. Some of my younger nieces and nephews, do they understand I've been where they trying to go? Some of my next door neighbors and some of my friends' children, when they meet me, do they meet me at the level that I present to them? Or do they meet me at the level they think that I'm supposed to be at? Or do they meet me at the level that they operating? It's very, very important for us to understand when we're meeting people at what level are we meeting them? Are we where they are? Or are we at a level that we can just compromise and say, okay, I can get you. Like I said, the guy, I was talking to him and he know I do the podcast, and he said, what's the topic? And I said, it's meeting people at the level that they are. And he said, well, Rodney, what do that mean? And I say, well, that means, you when you meet somebody, you try to get them to have a conversation with you about what you want, or if you're trying to build a relationship and you trying to, get something going. He said, well, what about the people that can't come at the level where you are? And when he said that, boom, it made me think about it. And I said, you're right. What about those people? How do you deal with them? Do you look down on them? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. What you should do is you try to find out where they are and then meet them there. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I see other individuals, and I don't like to always come race-wise, but, I got to speak from a black man's perspective. I'm sorry. A lot of us in this country have been put in situations where we're not being approached at the level where we are. Sometimes it's just based on the color of our skin. And then, and I ain't talking about other people. I'm talking about the people that have the same color skin that I have, that they put themselves in a position where they be judgmental from the very first appearance, not knowing who you are, and what you're up to, and what you're capable of, what you can bring to the table. Do they give you the opportunity to meet them on the level where they are, or do y'all come to a medium like this? So you can come into a place and this is you and this is them. And when you walk in, this is how the meeting level is. It's like this. When you walk up to each other, right? And it all depends on your dress code and your finesse and how you operate. Now, I'm saying, so it's like this, because both of y'all both in the same environment, so something is similar there, right? So what happens? Then when hello, how you doing? Okay, the person that spoke and the other person speaks back, you start to kind of mellow out, and you mellow out where you kind of get at the same level where you're communicating right now. But when a person find out, oh, what do you do? Well, I'm a bus driver, and the other one says I'm a car salesman. Okay, y'all can have a conversation. You can't say the bus have wheels and the cars that you sell have wheels. You can meet somewhere along in there, right? But what if you're a doctor and you are a gentleman that cut grass? How does the playing field changes then? And how do you look at each other? Now, excuse me. The problem with most of us would be we'll start thinking he's not at my level. And then you take away from that individual not knowing what they bring to the table. Like my friend said, when he spoke to this guy. He spoke to him for 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Every time he saw him, he spoke to him, and the guy didn't say anything. He started getting to the point, he was like, yo, bro, you don't know me like that. Well, for real, the guy didn't know him. But guess what? He didn't know the guy. And he didn't know that the guy had a mental problem. So it was important for him to, after he had the discussion and found out his situation, he said, okay, now I know. I'm like this even in my relationships. And in my personal relationship that I'm in now, I get in my feelings because I want my partner to meet me where I am. I want them to meet me on the level where I'm trying to go. I want them to meet me. I got somebody else that I've been networking with and working with that sometimes meeting her where she is not easy because she thinks she's in control of stuff all the time. And it kind of bothers me because sometimes she has no clue what I'm dealing with or what I'm going through. She has no clue what I've done to keep her at a level where I am. And sometimes it becomes a problem. But you know what I do? I make the adjustment because when she thinks she's like this all the time, I just kind of, sometimes I'll come up and level it out. When I'm really like this for real, she don't know. But I'll level it out and let her, if you want to feel like you're a little bum, go ahead. I don't care. Because I have to meet you where you are. See, you thinking that I don't have no common sense. You thinking that I don't know how you treated me or how you disrespected me or how you talked to me or that you took advantage of me. When really, I see it. Sometimes I just may not want to say anything about it. Just remove myself from it. So everybody just joining in. It's Motivation Monday. I'm your host, Rodney Grimes. This is the People Talk Show podcast, People to People. And I love trying to move ahead and try to meet people where they are. And you know something, I meet many, many people that I consider to be above me, and I listen. I learn from them. I take their information and then I utilize it for myself to make me a much better person. So meeting others where they are mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically, you have to make adjustments. You do, in order for you to find peace and joy in your life. You know, I got this one guy. I was talking to him, and you can tell he's used to using big words and stuff like that. And I know he makes more money than me, and it's okay. And I was talking to him, and he was giving me some good information. I was absorbing it, but I know deep down inside he don't think I'm at the level that he is, and that's all right with me. That's okay, because not all the time am I in the environment where just because you use bigger words or you make more money than me, that you will come out on top, man or woman. Sometimes my skills that I learned while in the streets coming up with some of the individuals who I grew up with taught me how to manage and go to different levels that I can kind of alter the level where I deal with you mentally. And how I deal with you physically too. Now, when it comes to spiritual, I don't challenge nobody there. I don't know nobody's relationship with the Creator. I just know mine's. And in that, I meet you at a humble state. I meet you at a level that I think is even. I meet you at a point where, you know something, I say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pray for you because you don't really know me. And I don't know you, not like that. Hey, let me tell you something. You don't really know many people until you sleep with them, eat with them, and sick with them, cry with them, pray with them, lay with them. You don't really know people like that. And a lot of times, the level which y'all came into is not the level that you'll end up. So when we meet each other on levels, you got to know how to make your adjustments. Now, most time, if you meet somebody and they don't want to speak to you, don't speak back. Keep it moving. If they disrespect you, I'm not saying you got to disrespect them, but you just let them know you're going to respect me if we're going to be in the same arena and you coming in my space. Then you got to get them where they're going to meet you at the level so that it don't become a physical a situation or a struggle mentally either. It's to a point where you really, really can put yourself in a position and say, hey, I have made adjustments to meet you at the level so that you can understand me. Now, again, I do this podcast. We got so many good things coming. I can't. But you know something. If you want to meet me there, that's fine. And when I say meet me at the level knowing that I care about you. I try to educate you. I try to educate myself. A lot of the conversations that I have on the podcast is conversations I've had with other people, and I try not to hold that knowledge. And let me tell you something. One thing, I am a man. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. I'm a man that believe that God put me on this earth to be a supporter and a leader. I always tell people, in order to lead, you have to learn how to follow. If you don't know how to follow, your leadership is going to suck. You're going to be leading where people are going to be looking at you, and when you turn your back, they're going to be laughing at you and calling you crazy. But when you can meet them at the level where they are and let them understand that you understand that they may not be as educated as you are. They may not be as strong as you are. They may not be the same color as you are. They may not have the same ethnic background as far as their language and their religion. You have to meet them at a level, and you level it out. Because when you come to each other, it's like this. It's not like this all the time. It's not like that. Sometimes it go like this, and you be like, "Oh, hey, I can't function right there. I can't function right here. I'm functioning right here." So now, don't get this misinterpreted what I'm telling you. If you are up here and you're in a situation that this person right here is trying to get up here, lower it down just a little bit so that they can come and talk to you. So you can educate them and say, hey, I can pull you up. I can pull you up. I can get you where we can start to help each other. We can do things together. Not all the time will it works, but most of the time it will. And you'll find that people will appreciate that. So when you're in situations where people, and you meet them where they are, I don't care who they are. They can be your wife, your brother, your sister, your niece, your nephew, your grandchildren. You know, some of my grandchildren was over the house yesterday. And one of them is about 16 and the other one is about 10. I meet them on different levels. And sometimes with my children, I have a son that's 45 years old. When I talk to him and our conversation are really, really deep. Then I have a couple of daughters, and a lot of times their conversation with me is on a whole different level. Sometimes levels that I can't explain. Excuse me. So, know where you meet people. Put yourself in a position where you do meet them at the level and where they are in life. That not so many times do you put it where you are above them and make them feel they're beneath you. And if you are beneath them, let them know that you want to come up where they are. When I go to these networking events, I have individuals that be gritting on me for whatever reason. I don't know, I didn't do nothing to them, but I'm there for the same thing they are. I want to learn something. I want to meet some people who's doing things. And you know what? For me, being a podcaster and the man that I am, I always want to know what's on your mind. I always want to learn something from you. You know, I told this young boy one time, we was walking and there was a drunk laying on the ground, and he was like, look at that drunk. I said, don't talk about him. Don't do that. Don't do that. And he looked at me. I said, because I want to explain something to you. You don't know where he been. You don't know what he been through. See, if you ask him and try to talk to him and meet him where he's at, you'll find out that you couldn't even handle where he is right now. He might be laying there drunk on the ground, but you might have went and blew your brains out if you had to deal with what he had to deal with. But the young guy just looked at me. Sometimes when you meet somebody, you got to meet them at a point where you can balance it out, where you can actually come to that person and be able to understand what they're going through. Not saying, hey, you the best of the best, because you don't know everything. I can imagine what some of these filthy rich people think. I'm so smart. Let me tell you something. For real, a lot of them are really, really cruddy. They don't have a problem taking from other people who don't have and hogging it. Now, I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful, but some people, and they'll look down on you because they have more than you. When you know something, at one time they didn't have nothing. Where were they? What level playing grounds were they on then? So the young guy, when I was telling them, if you see a man and he having problems or he going through something, ask him his story first before you see if you're on his level. You'll find out, guess what? He might be on a level that just crashed. He might be on a level that was so high up that he ran into something in his journey in life that took him to a level where he ended up in the bottle on the corner, laying in the streets. And if you hear his story, you'll find out you could not wear his shoes. You would probably went and jumped off the bridge and committed suicide because you wouldn't have been able to handle where he was at the level he was. And probably even at the level that he is right then. And I don't make excuses for anybody who run to and use drugs and alcohol for abuse. But what I do want you to know is that it's important for you not to come to a point, meet people at the level you want to meet them, where you want them to meet you. You come in there humble, come at a level where, it's like this. Like I said, when you come in there, you want to come in. So I don't care who it is. This is your grandchild, somebody that, the guy that was I had this dude, he kept giving me irrational crap, man. I don't know why. And many times I tried to talk to him and say something nice. He still talks smack to me. Well, one day, I had enough, and I just said, look, I'm going to meet him where he is. So I told him, I said, yo, we can handle this any way you want. You just got to let me know so we can go ahead and get this over with. Because I'm not going to keep letting you treat me like I'm a piece of crap, because I'm not. I'm more than what you think. And then as I got to know him, I realized something. He really ain't a bad guy. It was just that he don't communicate like I do. I was different flavor than what he was used to dealing with. And the more and more I got to know him, you know what? He all right. He might still don't care too much for me, but that's okay, because guess what? The level that we are, I'm at a level that I can kind of ease up under him or ease up around him or over him. And if he want to stay at that level, then so be it. But what I don't do when I come to you, I try to meet you where you are. But if you're not where I am and you ain't trying to go where I'm going, then I remove myself and I go into the area where those who are trying to do some of the things I'm doing, then I can meet them where they are. That's why I go to these networking events. I go to business meetings. I talk to different individuals. I talk to anybody. I turn my recorder on in my head and I'm listening to them and I'm sucking it up. I give honor and praise to my creator. You know why? Because I'm not egotistic. I don't think I'm better than nobody. I love talking to people. I love listening to anybody who have a story, because I take from it and then it benefits me. Because I believe that I am somebody. I believe that I'm fulfilling my purpose as I come on the People to People podcast. I believe that, something, I can meet you at your level. And if your level is higher than mine, guess what? Please, 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 look, just bring me up there with you. Tell me how to get there. I'll come with you. Every time you rise, I'll come with you. And if you lower your standards, guess what? I'll lower mine so we can communicate. But let's understand, when we meeting each other, let's meet with respect. Not thinking that you are better than they are or less than they are. And if you one of those egotistic people, come down to earth. Because guess what? One thing for sure. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how long your hair is. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many brothers, sisters you got. One thing for sure. If you was born, you gonna die. And when you die, I don't care whatever it is, ain't going with you. The only thing you gonna carry with you is the memories that's floating around in that spirit that God gave you. And that spirit should be meeting people at levels that's unconditionally open, not passing judgment on anybody. Excuse me. For everybody that just joined in, my name is Rodney Grimes. This is the People Talk Show podcast. People to people. I say people to people because the people, that's you, me, and them. Power to power. This is my slogan. It's people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Right? People to people, me, you, and them. The power you possess, the power I possess. And guess what? When we come together, we become positive thinking people, and we come at a level where we can communicate together. And I love that so, so much. I see here Queen Rachel said, to be great communicator, you need to be a great listener and be flexible. Be a flexible communicator to meet people where they are. It says so they will be open, or so they will be willing to open up because you created a safe space. Okay, my apologies. Let me read that over so that it can come out clearly. To be a great communicator, you need to be a great listener and be flexible. Be a flexible communicator to meet people where they are. So they will be willing to open up because you created a safe space. And that's so true. A lot of us have to do just that. You got to create that safe space at the level so people can talk to you. Let me tell you, it's something. I'm hoping that when I come on the air that I meet you at a level where you'll be able to find something out of the conversations and the information that I share. And I just pray to my creator, Yah, all the time, all day long. And I pray and say, Yah, please help me, Father. Help me to be a blessing to others. Help me to walk in your footsteps so that as I move, that I don't look down on anybody. And those who look down on me, let them be. Let them move in their arena. But I want to keep moving, and I meet them at a level that I can communicate and function. And I don't allow people to manipulate me to be beneath them for their own personal gain. We have people who get power, and what they do is they take it and don't meet you. They want to be over you. They want to overpower you. They want to manipulate you. They want you to feel bad. They want you to cry and be unhappy. No, don't meet them at that level. Meet them at the level where you show happiness and joy. You pray for them and keep it moving. You meet them at the level that you operate. Let them stay where they at. Because guess what? A lot of them with that negative energy, they not on your level. A lot of them really think that they're above you, but they're not. You'll find yourselves way above them in so many cases. We got people who go to college and they'll see somebody just came out of the penitentiary and they'll say, oh, you just got out of jail. But let me tell you something about some of them people that went to jail. They had nothing else to do but read books. Can you imagine some of the books they read that you didn't read in college? I mean, read them over and over and over, that knowledge that they can accumulate. It doesn't make you, because you went to college, that you're better than the person that went to jail. Mentally or physically or spiritually. Now I'm saying, y'all understand what I mean. I'm not telling you it's good to go to jail. No. But I'm telling you, I have talked to some brothers who went to penitentiary bad. When they come out, man, they are so educated that is unreal. And what level are they? A lot of you look at them, oh, you just came out of there in 20 years. Yo, bro, it was 20 years of me in the books. You just came out of college, 4 years, reading, and you out here, and look at what you're doing right now. You out here dogging people. You out here struggling. You out here thinking you better than everybody else because you went to college. That's not everything. What I find is this really intriguing is when people take what they learned and share with others, and whatever level people are. When people look at you and just realize you're a human being and say, something, you deserve to be on any level of communication with respect. That's when I look at people and say, you know what, you all right. You're the type of person that I can have that conversation with and get something from you. The gentleman who was talking to me, I realized, and I seen him several times. I done worked around him, been in his presence a couple times, and I laughed because, something I could tell by his posture and everything. And I don't want to really say what I want to say because, but I think that seriously, he think he's way over my level, and it's okay. It's all right. I'm not stupid. I may don't talk the way you do, but I understand what you're saying. I may not walk the way you do, but I'm walking it. I'm walking, and even if I was in a wheelchair or crutches, I'm still moving, still making my moves. So all I'm saying for many of us out here that, don't be so quick to try to outdo somebody or make somebody feel bad. Watch where you meet them at. Watch how you deal with them, because you don't know where they are and what they've been through and how they're moving. And a lot of times it can backfire on you. So when you go to the networking events, walk in with confidence, but sometimes lower your standards just so you can help somebody or find out what they need. Be a blessing to them. Sometimes you can be the one that they need. You go into a congregation where people, you see this one person, they not dressed as fancy as you are. Don't mean that you're better than them. Sometimes you got to come, like I said, when you come in and it's like this, sometimes you just want just the fact that we're human beings to put us at a level where we are balanced out and we'll meet where we can communicate with one another. It'll flex up here and there during the conversation. It will. It'll flex here and there. But sometimes if you're just a good-hearted person, it'll mellow out. You, as Queen Rachel said, that you'll create a safe zone where the person will feel comfortable enough and say, "Hey, I love talking to you. You was amazing. You just motivated me. You helped me." Meeting others where they are, mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically. Sometimes you got to meet them physically. Sometimes you just got that bully who keep bullying you. Sometimes you just got to meet him right where he at or she's at and give him exactly what he's looking for. Not saying it's the best way to deal with a situation. I tell you, I was at this location and I met some very, very prominent individuals. And I noticed when they was around me, because they had a lot more connections than I did at the level and the location where I was, that they thought that they were really above me. And I noticed that when they talked to me, that they really didn't have in their heart and in their minds to really open up to me like I wanted them to. And sometimes I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel a safe zone, so I just back off. But what I realized was this: in my arena, they couldn't touch me. In my playing field, they couldn't touch me. I'm a straight up soldier when I be moving in my arena. You may know him and her that own this and that. They may got big houses and big cars. And guess what? They may be straight up alcoholics. They may be straight up users and abusers. We don't know. But when we meet on the playing field and we level out, a lot of times you'll find out, just because you got more money than me don't mean you're smarter. I'm still surviving. We have people that was born with money. Okay. And guess what? A lot of them that even at that level, at that playing field, that they got all that money, guess what happens? They show you just how stupid or uneducated they are, because a lot of them will find themselves committing murder, on drugs, becoming alcoholics, raping people. I'm talking they got all the finances they need and they doing garbage that you be like, why would you do that? Playing fields, when you meet people, not all the time is it going to be where you think this person is right here, you right here. And guess what? When you find out, just really how they functioning, and I don't care if they riding a Mercedes or not, you'd be like, oh Lord, man, when I talk to them, guess what? We kind of right here, and I'm not that far behind them, or I'm not, what, actually, I don't have to have a Mercedes to be rising above them, because I'm just a good person, a person who's trying to do right by the community and things of that nature. So important. So everyone that will hear this message, I send peace and blessings to you. And I ask you, watch how you meet people. Meet them at the levels, and like I said, if they don't speak to you, okay, then don't speak back. Somebody speak to you, speak with a smile. Meet people at the levels that you want to be at. You want to be met at as well. And for individuals who you're dealing with children, not all the time in this day and time, you got to remember that you're dealing with so many different type of demons that is crazy. See, your kids, a lot of your kids is learning stuff from other kids on their cell phones, on the computers that you have no idea. And you wondering why they talk to you the way they do. We got kids so confused, they don't know whether they coming or going. We got kids don't know whether they a boy or girl. They might know that they got the girl parts, and they may not know that they got the boy parts. But by the way that the society is running them, they confused. And guess what? Sometimes meeting them at the level where they are confused, you have to come out of your stability and stable part to come down and just sound a little bit confused too. Ask them. Give them something that you have been struggling with and say, well, how would you deal with this? Tell me. And then you listen to them and come to find out they might be coming up to the level where you are. They might come to the level where you can communicate. I have many people that I meet that don't believe in the Creator. I got people that don't believe in helping other people, but that's okay. I had a very, very dear friend of mine. I grew up with her. And this young lady, I had the utmost respect for her. I actually, at one time, I was infatuated with her. And I know that I have done things in my life that she couldn't possibly have experienced because of where I've been. And as we have moved on, I consider to become pretty successful. And you would think that during her journey that she would understand meeting people at a higher level doesn't put her higher up there over top of the people that was with her when she was down here, right? And a lot of times when I see her or I see a picture of her or whatever, I start to feel funny and I start to feel like, man, did she lose it somewhere that she got to some level that she thinks she up here and all of the people that grew up with her is still down here and she forgot, you know what, that we all was right here at one time. And it's just funny. It's just funny that these individuals get like that and forget, you know, meet me at my level. Don't forget, I know where you came from. I know what you done. You know, a lot of the male and females, people get to forget. I don't want you to assume that I think I'm above you. I want to be with you. I want to learn from you. I want you to come and help me teach others. I believe that, you know, this is my little pitch to you, meeting you where you are. I might can grow cabbage and you might can grow corn. And a woman down the street might know how to milk the cow where she can get milk out for everybody. And a man down the street, he raising chickens. And then you got another man that's raising turkeys. And you got a man that he's growing potatoes. And then you got that grandma that's making them beautiful red tomatoes. In the time when all of them are doing what they're doing, are they in the same level? Do they meet each other at the same level? You know, we got to think about that in life. You know what happens when you come to different, well, what would you growing? I'm growing potatoes. And he said, well, I'm doing tomatoes. And he said, my man over there growing lemons. You know something? It doesn't mean that one is above the other. All of them play a factor, and if you put it all together, guess what? You then create something unique, like a dinner, a meal that you can share. The same thing with your business. The same thing with the things that you accumulate in life. Sometimes you'll be better at it than others, but don't get to a point where you forget to meet them where they are. Meet them where they are, and if you rise up, don't forget to come down. Because let me tell you, those that see you go up will see you coming down too. And they will come to a point you'll say, you know what? I remember when. I remember when you were nothing. I remember when you were struggling. Come on back down to the level where we can communicate. To everyone that just joined in, I send peace and blessings to you again. And I tell you, meeting others where they are mentally, spiritually, or sometimes physically, it's an art. And you got to understand, don't be so quick to pass judgment on those who you think are not walking the same platform that you're on. Give them an opportunity. Find out what they're thinking. Give them a safe space to be able to communicate with you so you can find out, you know something? Really, that alcoholic used to be a millionaire that can tell me the secret to getting where he was. He just didn't want to be there no more for whatever reason. So when we move among each other, watch how you communicate. Watch how you meet people. Come at the even playing field, just saying, hey, you're a human. Number one, you're a person. Give them that respect in the beginning. And if you're dealing with children, sometimes you just got to back off and let them be kids for a minute. Let them talk to you. They'll talk yourself right into your lap. That you'll find out that they don't know what they're saying. Instead of you trying to beat them down and tell them where they should be, when you can just open up your heart and say, come on and tell me where you want to be. There's so many of us be struggling in so many ways. I send peace and blessings to you. It's people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Guess what? I meet others where they are, mentally, spiritually, and I try not to do it physically.